God, it's the month of forgiveness. I think we're good. We've been really good this last month, and your dad has a horrible memory, so it's all good. You getting this? All right, Christmas time. Feliz Navidad, eh? I think I saw a couple presents under the tree with your name on it. Really? With mine? I think it's in mine. Ooh, I'm excited. Should be. I want to know what it is. Hey, abuelo! Feliz Navidad, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal, mi niño? Abuelo! Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, we're here for the holidays. What are you talking about? This is not gonna happen again. This is not. I'm here for Christmas. Leave the house. You did this at Thanksgiving. You're not gonna do it at my parents' house. I came here with open arms, trying to celebrate Christmas with the family. Exactly. Brought mommy here. Yeah. All right. You want to take care of this? Let's step outside. Let's step outside. Come on. All right. Let's step outside. You want to take care of this? Let's step outside. I came here with open arms, just trying to open arms. You know exactly why you're here. Somebody. You know exactly why you're here. Yeah. Jeez. I know what you really want. Down, little man. That's what you want for Christmas, isn't it? Hit me. Hit me in the face. Come on. Come on. Is that what you really wanted? Accept your present. Come on. Hit me. Yeah, you want it. Huh? Come on. Hit me. What? What the hell? Get out of here. You want to fight for that, huh? You want to fight? Get out of here, bro. Get out. I showed up here on my grandparents' house. This is abuse. Look. Take a breath. No, you're kidding me. I just slapped in the face. Somebody do something about it. But I need to know what's going on. Is she all right? We have done nothing. We have done nothing. What happened here, bud? I showed up here at my grandparents' house. Hey, relax. Okay, officer, this is what happened.
He pushed my husband.
We already did.
You slapped me. We have it on film. You slapped me in the face. That is abuse. And you're going to trash my husband. Enjoy Christmas behind bars.
Home to celebrate Christmas.
You
already ruined Thanksgiving one time. I'm gonna ruin our Christmas. My parents' house. We're just trying to have a good time.
He tried to hit my husband. He pushed him.
You touch him.
Yes.
You know what?
We have done nothing wrong.
Can't be here.
Yes, she slapped me in the face. She slapped me in the face. That is abuse.
Yes. Thanksgiving night. Went into my house.
And he hit my husband.
Dropped.
No.
Yo, I didn't.
I walked up behind him.
I didn't to you.
Nothing.
Listen, what's your name?
My name's Don.
Okay, let's come over here a little bit.
Why are you talking to me
Listen,
like that?
hey, stop
Why are you being so serious?
Hold on. I'll explain what's going on, but I need you to turn around for me.
This is
All right,
abuse.
I need you to turn around for me.
Whoa,
Wait, what? What?
Relax.
You're kidding.
We're the ones that got abused, and
I need you to stay still.
she got her hands laid on.
All right.
This is abuse that you're arresting him. Are you kidding me? What the? Don't you man me. Don't you man me.
Okay, relax.
She's the one that got slapped in the face.
All right.
My mom hit mommy.
Take a. What are you doing? No. Don't. Get off me. Go.
All right, go ahead and step in.
This is not my crime.
Coffin and priest.
Watch your head.
Coffin and priest.
I'm gonna get you
Bail
out.
me
I'm
out.
gonna get you there.
Guys,
Mommy.
All right,
Bail me out.
You gotta get out of here, man.
Hey, coffin and call priest.
you guys are arresting the wrong one. The wrong one. You're supposed to be arresting.
And good evening and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Wrestling. And this is the year-end show, and we're going to be here tonight, and we have a lot to talk about. And by phone, Smokin Jim Frazier. Welcome aboard, Smokin Jim.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Looking forward to the show.
Did you hear the video?
Yeah.
All right.
That was crazy.
Oh, it is. It's nuts. Once again, Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley made asses of themselves. They went over Ray's grandparents' house in an attempt to try to interrupt Christmas. They get over there, and the grandparents answer the door, and then Ray comes to the door, and he says, well, we could take this outside, Dom. And I tell you what, I never seen Ray get so angry. He says, we're not doing this during Christmas. You did it. Try to do it during Thanksgiving, which he did. And, so here we are again, another storyline of this thing with the Mysterios. And now the rumor I got today, Smokin Jim, was that there's going to possibly be a match at WrestleMania between Rey Mysterio and Dominic. And as of right now, maybe Rey Mysterio may be moving to Raw to get back at Dominic, or Dominic and Rhea are going to come to SmackDown and try to come after Ray. And Ray's got problems on SmackDown, Smokin' Jim. He's got this feud going with Karrion Kross. What do you think about all this?
Well, I think it's long overdue, man. I think they have to settle this thing in the ring.
Right. I think Ray needs to go to the ring, like you said, and I think he needs to take him to the woodshed, because I'm going to tell you what, this is ridiculous. If it was my son, I would do that, because sometimes tough love is always the best thing at times. You know what I'm saying? And, folks might not agree with me on that, but it's true. But this is another storyline that's making way with what happened. Dominic got arrested. He did get released the next morning. Finn and Priest went and picked him up at the jailhouse. Rhea Ripley almost went to jail. She got slapped by Rey Mysterio's wife. I mean, I'm telling you, it was classic Smokin' Jim. You got to see it. It's all over the place, the video. And I think I sent it to you, but you got to see this video. It's crazy. It's out there. And, like I said, they made asses of themselves yet again at Rey Mysterio's house. What do you think is going to happen here moving forward? Do you think Ray could move to Raw and go after Dominic, or do you think it's going to be in reverse? Dominic and Ray and Rhea Ripley go to SmackDown to look for Ray to get back at him going to jail? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I wouldn't rule out Dominic beating Ray.
You okay, Smokin' Jim?
Yeah.
All right. It's good to have you back, buddy. I did the show yesterday by myself, Sports Corner. It was great to have you back, man. I know what it's like out there. It's all over the place, all over the news. Travelers are being stranded at airports and things like that. Once again, tonight, I'm dedicating all my shows this week to Franco Harris and what has happened to him. And Smokin' Jim, do you have anything you want to talk about real quick about Franco Harris, or real fast here before we get into our other topics?
Yeah, probably his last interview ever was at my City League Hall of Fame banquet. He came. He was the keynote speaker, the MC. He was very generous to the organization that I represent. He gave us money every year, and
right.
And he spoke well, and he said something at that banquet, man, that I never knew, and I've known Franco personally for over 20 years, and he said that he encouraged all athletes to play more than one sport. Now the athletes today in high school are just concentrating on one sport. He said they should play all sports. He said because if he would have only played one sport in high school, he would have made a mistake, because the sport that he felt he was best at and loved the most was basketball. So had he been an athlete of today, he would have chose basketball. Of course, never made it to the NBA, but because he was a multi-sport athlete, he was able to get a football scholarship and fall in love with football. So I thought that was a powerful statement, probably the last powerful message that he sent to the youth.
Okay. We're going to get into our wrestling part of this show right now. Thank you, Smokin' Jim, for sharing that with us. My interaction with him was at El Vento Sr.'s funeral. That was my interaction with Franco Harris. That was the only one I had. And unfortunately, it had to be at a funeral home. But, as you know, I'm friends with the Vento family and the Franco's Italian Army. And, I was real close with the situation with, because of that with Franco Harris. So let's get started here, Smokin' Jim. We have a lot to talk about tonight because we weren't on last week because I had some issues, and so we were not on last week. And this is the last show of the year, so I think we're going to have to give our audience a blast to go into the new year with. So first, we're going to talk about Damian Priest. Now, Damian Priest made a comment recently on the internet here, or on a statement that he made, that the Judgment Day want to have a match or go after eventually the Bloodline. I'm going to tell you this, Smokin' Jim. I saw this coming, and I said this a while back, that I think the Judgment Day is probably going to try to go after the Bloodline because they're so greedy to make attention for themselves. that they're going to do this. What do you think about this?
Say that again with the bloodline. You're breaking up a little bit.
I said the bloodline. Damian Priest made a statement this week that the Judgment Day are looking to go after the bloodline. What do you think about this?
Yeah, why not? They hold all the belts, man. You know, hey, Sonny Liston once said, you know, when he won a fight coming up before the title, they said, "Who you want next?" He said, "The guy with the belt, the guy with the championship." So yeah, I see why the Judgment Day wants that.
Okay, one other thing this week, the big news was a lot of wrestlers for the WWE didn't show up at house shows because of weather problems, travel restrictions. You were involved in that. What's your thinking on this? Or what do you think about this?
About the fans not being able to get out?
No. The wrestlers, Smoking Jim. The wrestlers couldn't get out at the to the house shows. What do you think?
I tell you what, man, it was really crazy because of the weather all around the country, and it caused so many cancellations, man, and people were just stuck in whatever city that they were in. So I definitely experienced it, and I can understand it, man. I feel bad for the fans who were wanting to see some of their favorite wrestlers, but what can you do, man? This was a bad weekend for travel and holidays.
Absolutely. Also, we have Alexa Bliss changing her character, and I want to tell you, leading into this, Smoking Jim, she's changing her character to go back to what she did with Bray Wyatt. Now, I'm sure you're aware if you watched SmackDown on Friday night, Bray Wyatt went after and beat up a security and cameraman and some security personnel. Adam Pearce, I just found this out today, is officially in charge of SmackDown. He's the manager or the general manager, whatever, of SmackDown. He said he wants Bray Wyatt out of the company completely. Now, Triple H has made a statement that perhaps this is what's going to happen. They're going to move him to Raw because Raw is having issues with the ratings, and USA Network is getting frustrated because their ratings are down. And I'm hearing stories now that Raw is going to go to 2 hours, and they're going to try to bring Bray Wyatt up to boost the ratings. Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, he's a popular figure, and he's a nutcase, man. And I did see when he spoke normally, but you can tell he just went into a zone. And when he goes into that zone, man, you never know what can happen. And I thought he was going to kill that cameraman. I thought he was going to choke him to death, man. But luckily, the guy was saved. So, yeah, anything to save the product. It's so hard. It would be hard to cut back to 2 hours or Raw because the wrestlers aren't getting enough time as it is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
SmackDown, sometimes that 2 hours goes so fast.
It does.
And you kind of need that third hour. But as far as the attention span of today's youth, it'd be better to go 2 hours.
Well, the problem they're having, Smoking Jim, is that they they're having issues trying to complete the third hour, trying to find material. And then they end up having these, you know how the wrestlers get in the ring and they do all this jibber jabber and talking and all that stuff towards the end of the show. I mean, you've seen that. I've turned it off because of that. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's no way to have an ending. Your ending should be your feature match, and you should be going bye-byes. What they're doing is having their feature match on, and then at the end they're having, Miz TV, or they're having some kind of nonsense come on to end the show. And I could see it that they were having issues trying to fill that third hour. So with 2 hours, they might be able to condense some of this talking down a little bit and then be able to have some good matches. And if they bring up Bray Wyatt, he's very popular. And as the Fiend, he's very popular. So what I'm saying is I think you bring up Bray Wyatt, you have him come to Raw, he can team up, he can have Alexa Bliss in his little faction there, which she's going to change her character anyway. So it's being changed to that. She's holding that baby doll again, and she's doing Sister Abigail. So it's leading to where Bray Wyatt could do that. But the thing is, Adam Pearce wants him out of the company. So Triple H is trying to calm Adam Pearce down and say, hey, look, we need to help. We need to move him here to Raw because Raw's ratings are down. He's not going to come near you. He's not going to talk to you. He's not even going to associate with you. So as long as that's the case, I think Triple H can make this work. Also, I wanted to talk with you tonight. I'm finding out that Vince McMahon's about to come back at the beginning of the year. Now, Triple H has made a statement that he doesn't want Vince McMahon interfering in anything connected with the wrestling programs. Now, he was at SmackDown on Friday night, but he was only there as a visitor. Triple H said in a statement that he doesn't want Vince McMahon back in the company and sticking his nose in it because he ruined it the first time. Triple H says he's not going to do it the second time. How do you think this is going to play out?
I think Vince McMahon is going to come back, and he's going to come back and run it the way he's been running it for all these years, in the way that his daddy ran it before he had it. So
right.
I think that Triple H is barking up the wrong tree. It's Vince McMahon's show.
Well, it's not just his show. Let me explain this to you, Smokin' Jim. You do know WWE is a public company. Vince McMahon doesn't own it. He only owns a share of it. It's a public company. Let's say, for instance, you and I decide to invest in WWE. We're a part owners, okay? It's a public company that's in the stock market. People buy stock in WWE. They own it. The stockholders are now starting to question whether or not Vince McMahon needs to be there. And if the stockholders start getting involved, which they are, you know what's going to happen here? Vince McMahon's not going to be able to be involved. Do you see what I'm saying, Smokin' Jim? Because if this happens that way, okay, they call the shots. This is a public company. He only controls 50%. The other 50% is controlled by the stockholders. So if, let's say, for instance, you and I own stock and we take a vote at a stockholders meeting that we don't want Vince McMahon to be anywhere near this, then he's not going to be anywhere near this because legally he can't. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that could happen. Do you think that might happen that way?
Well, how long has Vince McMahon been involved in wrestling?
He's been involved forever. I mean, I don't even know.
And
yeah.
How long was his dad involved?
Oh, his dad was involved for a long time as well. In fact,
I rest my case.
I can see what you're saying there, man. All right. Anyway, also Asuka is going to change her character. She's going to a name that she used in New Japan called Rana. What do you think about this character change with Asuka? We've discussed this numerous times that she's sort of been put in the back burner for a while. She's a little disgusted. She's going into this name change and she's going to turn heel. What do you think about this?
Yeah, whatever it takes. I mean, she has the talent to play and wrestle as other characters and different personalities, and whether good or bad. So I think they're trying to find a way for her to fit in because there is so many other women wrestlers that are very popular today.
Absolutely. The reason we're not talking about Raw, Smokin' Jim, is because I don't know if you noticed, they had their year-end special. They didn't really have any set matches. They just went over the best of last year. One of the best matches that they went over on Raw was the SmackDown match between the Usos and the New Day when they had that tag team championship match a few weeks back that I thought was actually pretty interesting before the New Day won the NXT tag team belts. So, I thought it was a really good match. They have had classic matches over the years. And so, so that's basically the issue there. Later on, after we're done here with the news stuff, we're going to talk about our Where Are They Now segment. We're going to talk about China. I have some information for you in regards to her life. I know she's deceased, but, we're going to talk about some of the things she did over the years, Smokin' Jim and I, as part of our segment. We haven't done it for a few weeks. Where are they now? So we're going to get back into that. I've been getting a lot of emails and requests for this. So we're going to get back into that. Next week, we're going to do Where Are They Now on The Undertaker. So we're going to do that next week. And we're going to continue that segment because it seems to be very popular. I received a lot of emails and a lot of comments about that, Smokin' Jim. So we're going to get back into that tonight. Some other news. Cody Rhodes is returning first week of Raw. The story I'm hearing is that he's going to return and ruin a match between Seth Rollins and Austin Theory for the U.S. title. And what do you think about this? I hear he's coming back with a vengeance to go after Seth Rollins for revenge for what he did to him. You think it's just the right way to bring him back, or do you think they should have waited till Royal Rumble and let him win the Royal Rumble match?
No, I think that that's a perfect timing anytime because him and Seth Rollins is just a natural. That's something the fans want to see. They're natural with one another. Both of them can talk. Both of them can, create the excitement for a match, and they can keep those things going. So if Cody can stay healthy, anytime bringing him back is the right time.
Comment section, Thomas says hello, so we'll say hi back to him. So, all right, Devon Dudley. Here we are, Smokin' Jim. Devon Dudley has been fired by the WWE. He was working for them as an official. He was doing some other stuff for them. You're not going to believe this. Again, here we are, just like Mandy Rose. He got fired because he went to an ECW reunion party and got paid for signing autographs. So the WWE now is getting real stern. They're becoming what's called, I guess you could say, nitpickers or whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to put it in a cleaner way. They're trying to become real sticklers on how wrestlers make other money. And the WWE doesn't want them making other private money on their own if they're contracted to work for the WWE. They have that in their contracts. So my question to you is, what do you think about this? He's been fired because he accepted some money or got some money for Devon Dudley. Thomas says that's silly firing him for that. But here's what's going to happen. Devon is going to go to Impact or NWA with Bully Ray, and they're going to form a faction. They formed a faction before called the Aces and Eights back in the day with Impact. I think it could happen again. Devon's going to go back and work with Bully Ray. What's your thoughts on all this?
Well, if I'm Pepsi, I better not catch you drinking Coke. You know what I mean? The rules, man. So this is a competitive business, man. So yeah, I can understand it, man. You got to know the letter, the details of your contract. You can't work for a Cadillac dealership driving around in a Lincoln. So. I have no problem with that. I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, that's some of the news around the WWE a little bit. AEW, Kenny Omega has signed a contract extension. His contract's running out at the end of January, and AEW wants him to come back, so they signed him to a new contract. Also, I got some news for you. Miro and Lana, remember them? Or, Rusev Day and Lana? Well, Rusev, them two. Miro wants to leave AEW. His contract doesn't run out until next year. He's very unhappy about the way he's being booked. He wants to go back to the WWE. Lana made a statement recently. Her real name is CJ Perry. She made a comment recently on her Twitter page that Rusev Day is not dead. Okay, so what that means is Rusev or Miro, Rusev, whatever his name is, Harry Klishna, whatever, is going to go back to, wants to go back to WWE. Thomas here thinks he's a better fit for WWE on their comment section. What do you think, Smokin' Jim?
Ooh, I'd like to get your opinion on that one.
Well, I think he's better off. He was marketed real well with the WWE. Remember when he was Rusev and he had Rusev Day, and then he was part of that faction. Oh boy, he was part of that faction where League of Nations. He was part of that faction. with Sheamus and Wade Barrett and all them guys. And so he was in that faction. I thought he was a good wrestler in WWE. He kind of got, another one of these Vince McMahon firings for no reason. Lana kind of, was a wrestler. Well, her real name, CJ Perry. She had talked about that perhaps she might be coming to AEW. I'm not sure yet what she's going to do. And, Miro's been sitting back. AEW hasn't been putting him on TV, but you know what? He's making money on his own. And the good news is when you work for AEW, they don't care if you go to another wrestling organization and work. They don't care if you're in a movie. They don't care if you go clean toilets. They don't care what you do. Unlike the WWE, they force you to just make money with that or stay with them. Even if you were to even be the janitor at WWE, you couldn't work nowhere else. So what I'm saying is that's what they do with their people. And it turns out that now that AEW doesn't do that. If I'm Miro, or whatever, I'd stay there because he's not doing anything anyway and getting paid. And then he's been doing some acting jobs, keep himself busy, and going around the independents a little bit. So I would just stay doing that. If he goes back to WWE, he's not going to be able to do any of that stuff. That's what I think he should do. Next, Sasha Banks will be appearing real soon, coming up in a January Dynamite. She's going by the name Mercedes Bernardo. So what's your thinking on this, Smokin' Jim? You think the AEW's women's division is going to be much improved with Sasha Banks or Mercedes Bernardo coming to AEW?
It can't help but to be. She's just a super talent, and she's well known, and she can wrestle her butt off, and the crowd loves her, man. So they got a home run hitter with her.
Oh, absolutely. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to bring up, speaking of the women's division for the WWE, there's a rumor going around Raquel Rodriguez is going to fight Ronda Rousey. She earned the number one competitor spot in that fatal four-way or whatever it was called that they just had for the number one or the 6-man or whatever it was. They just had on SmackDown this week. Now the rumor has it that the WWE is going to have her be the champ for a little while, and Ronda Rousey's going to lose the belt because they want to see how Raquel Rodriguez works as a champ, whether or not she can draw people, whether or not people would follow her, whether or not she'll have a big fanfare. Ronda Rousey, as a heel, has a good fanfare. What do you think about this? You think it's a bad move, or you think they should go with it?
Well, one, she ran the gauntlet, what they call it, the gauntlet. And so, Rodriguez was able to do that, but I don't think anybody with one arm is going to beat Ronda Rousey. That's going to be the problem right now. And I don't see her, even though she has the championship appeal, she got the size, the strength. She got some power moves, but I think that because Shayna Baszler is still in Ronda Rousey's corner and that Raquel Rodriguez only has one arm, I think that something's going to happen where Ronda Rousey will be able to make her tap out.
Okay, now we're going to get into our segment, Where Are They Now? We're going to talk about China. China's real name is Joni or Joan Marie Launer is her name. Okay, or Lauer. I'm sorry, Joan Marie Lauer. China, Smokin' Jim. What was your best thing of seeing about China, other than her body, of course? What was something that you saw about China and wrestling, like beating up men and becoming a champion and all that stuff? What was your best thing to see about China when she was in WWE?
Well, you beat me to it. I was going to say the Playboy issue, but hey, she was trained by Killer Kowalski, I believe. So she was trained to be, a great wrestler, great professional wrestler. She had the size, she had the charisma. She was the perfect, I think, specimen to bring to introduce people into what is now a great feature in wrestling, which is female wrestler, women wrestlers. So China was she was really probably the first woman superstar. And in
Yes.
my opinion, she's still the best women's wrestler of all time. She was a Bruno Sammartino of women wrestling.
Well, I want to say this. She got into some big time drug problems, anxiety, depression. She was dating Sean Walton, formerly known as X-Pac, and Q Ball in the Aces of Eights, or Eight Ball. I'm sorry, his name was Eight Ball. And he was X-Pac. He was into Generation X. It was the same scenario as what happened with Lex Luger and Elizabeth. Remember when Lex Luger gave Elizabeth those drugs and she overdosed? Well, that's what happened here. Sean Walton gave her drugs and she overdosed. And now to this day, if you talk to X-Pac, he says Sean Walton, he wishes it never happened. And he has got himself off the drugs because of it. And he feels a lot better now and everything else. But, China, she was in Playboy, she was in porn. Okay. She was doing some stuff that probably was off the wall. I know she was in one of the Marine movies or a couple of those WWE movies, so, and I want to ask you this question. Do you think, but I know the answer, but I want to ask you if you know, do you think she really was in a relationship with Triple H, or you think it was staged?
Man, that's a good one, man. I tell you what, I heard so many bad rumors about China, but I heard more great rumors about China's body.
Yes.
And I don't know that Triple H could have resisted that. So I would say, yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah, but I'm sure you know the real story.
Oh, no, I do. I was just asking you what your thoughts were on this or what you would think, but I'm going to explain what the real fact is. They did have a relationship, a real true life relationship. And what had happened was Triple H got, kicked her to the curb and started going with Stephanie McMahon. And when China found out about it, man, look out. That's where this all came down. And China even admitted, I watched a documentary or some kind of show she was on. She even admitted, she said, I loved John, or John Lesqueak or whatever his name is, Triple H. She said, I really liked him. And it was just sad that he did what he did to me. And that's how she got into some depression and anxiety. And her mom said she's had the anxiety her whole life. And when she became a wrestler, it got really bad, and especially when she met up with Triple H. So, that's what happened with China. And that is our segment tonight on Where Are They Now? China's up somewhere. She passed away in 2016 of an overdose on drugs. She was with Sean Walton when it happened. He tried to resuscitate her, and it couldn't happen. I remember when the Miss Elizabeth Lex Luger thing came down. I thought that was a crazy situation. Elizabeth and Macho Man Randy Savage really worked together. They had a relationship. And then when they broke it off, she decided to start having a relationship with Lex Luger, Elizabeth. And then it got really bad. I didn't know Lex Luger was on all these kind of drugs and everything else. I mean, if you see what he looks like now, he's in a wheelchair. I mean, he's in really bad shape. So, we'll do a Where Are They Now on him. I saw him, and I think I've said this before, auction off his robe or pawn off his robe to Les Gold in Detroit on Pawn Stars, or not Pawn Stars, Hardcore Pawn. And that he had to do that because he needed the money, and he pawned it off to Les Gold. And Les Gold's one of the best pawn dealers in the United States. He has a shop in Detroit, and they had a show going on called Hardcore Pawn. And when I saw that, he was walking with a cane then. Now he's in a wheelchair. So the drugs have eaten up his body, and he went to jail for that thing with Elizabeth. He served some time in jail, and he never got his career back up and running after that because he was a bad guy in this whole situation. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
once he left, he was in WCW. He got started. He left. He went to WWE. It didn't work out. Then he went somewhere else. But the same story here with China. She just got into this big anxiety and depression and went into drugs, and it was really sad. And she used going into porn. She did the Playboy thing to ease her pain, and drugs eased her pain. And that, that happens sometimes. What's your thoughts on this, Smoking Jim?
About the drug
Yeah.
situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's within our society that is so bad. I mean, look at the teenagers just passing away now, the fentanyl and these kind of drugs. I don't even know why you would take something. I can see the drugs. I understand why people take drugs. I mean, I've never had a smoke or a drink in my life, but I feel bad for people that are addicted, and I know the addiction comes from wanting to get high, wanting to stay high, or whatever. But I can never understand why you would try something that you don't know, that's experimental, that you don't know what it'll do, whether it'll kill you or not. And it just breaks my heart to see, so many people with that kind of addiction and end up dying from it, because it's very easy to overdose on it, even if you can afford it.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to go into some more news things here from some other places, Impact and NWA. Then we're going to get into a segment tonight here. We're going to talk about something interesting, Smoking Jim. I have a top 12 of the 12 best WWE tag teams of all time. Okay. Now, I'm going to name all 12 of them off, but there's no number one or number two. All right. You and I are going to determine who's number one and who's number two and so on. Okay. So first, what we're going to do is I want to talk about the Impact Wrestling. Billy Ray is going after Josh Alexander for the title in the upcoming pay-per-view called Hard to Kill. And big problems between Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer there in Impact. I hear that's not even any kind of storyline. I hear this is the truth now. Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray used to be very, very close friends. I hear now they don't even, it's really bad, and now they're taking it into the ring. I hear this is going to be a very interesting scenario because, as I mentioned before, Bully Ray is going to be teaming up with Devon Dudley, and they're going to go after Tommy Dreamer. And Tommy Dreamer is going to be forced to put a faction together to try to combat him. So we're going to see how that works out in Impact Wrestling with Scott D'Amore and the gang there. We're going to see what they do. And also Bully Ray is also in NWA. He's going after Tyrus for his title. Tyrus is the old, the guy who used to be in WWE, was part of the Funkadelics. Brutus Clay. Remember him? Sasha Banks and all of them. Yeah, that's who Tyrus is. And he's in NWA. He's their current champion right now. We're going to find out how this all works or how this all plays out real soon here. I just wanted to give you a quick note on that. Okay, now let's get into the 12. These are the 12 best, but they're not rated in order. All right. Starts off with the Rockers. All right. That's Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. Okay. If you had your top 12 today, where would you put them?
They wouldn't be in the top 12.
I like that one. That's a good one. How about the British Bulldogs?
Yeah, they're in the top 12.
Okay.
No doubt.
How about the Hart Foundation? That's a tough one, isn't it?
Lower end of the top 12, yeah.
Okay. How about the Mega Powers? Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Whew.
You know what? I don't think they deserve to be in the top 12. And let me tell you why. They didn't team up that much. They only teamed up for a brief time. So why would you even have them in the top 12? Okay?
Good point.
Yeah. The other three, I think, should be. I mean, the Rockers were a decent tag team. They won the belts. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Marty Jannetty went off in the sunset after they broke up. And Shawn Michaels, he became a superstar. The Hart Foundation or the British Bulldogs were a good tag team. Davey Boy Smith, he passed away, and his partner, he's in bad shape. I saw him; he's in a wheelchair too. He's in bad shape. So, but anyway, and the Heart Foundation, they're Hall of Famers. So, they belong in the top 12 here. The Mega Powers, I don't think so. How about Demolition?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Speaking of Demolition, they were in town a few weeks back. Keystone State Wrestling Association had them over in Sheridan at the Langley Post, VFW Post. They had a show over there. Demolition was there. So it was nice to see them out and about. The Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. What do you think?
Close to the top, brother.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think they deserve to. Well, Demolition, besides the fact that the New Day and the Usos broke their record, they had the tag team belts for a long time when they were around. I mean, it wasn't as long as what the Usos and New Day did, but they were a considerable amount of time. How about the New Age Outlaws? That's Billy Gunn and
I think top. They should be. They deserve the top 12. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about Edge and Christian?
Oh my, yeah. Very close to the top. Man.
I got 3 good ones for you. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
The Hardy Boys. The Hardys.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with you as well. How about the Dudley Boys?
Yes, sir.
Last but not least, you ready? Or I'm sorry, we got 2 more to go. The New Day.
They wouldn't be in my top 15.
Okay. I think they should be. They've been, 9-time tag team champions. And Kofi Kingston, I think they're going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame sooner or later when they retire. I think they're going to be in real quickly. They've done a lot. And last but not least, and I think you'll agree with me on this, they should be in the top 12, the Usos.
Yeah. Not top 5.
There's no doubt about that.
5.
There's no,
not top 5, but they deserve to be in the top 12. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another edition of Talking Wrestling. Smokin' Jim, it's great to have you be on again tonight. Stay tuned. Coming up next tonight at 10:30. I'm going to be live in Tampa, Florida. Smokin' Jim, I talked to Mark. We're going to try to get you on one of these days with us down there in Tampa with Peter Blake. He has this segment on his show called The Sports Web. It's live on YouTube, and he's down in Tampa, Florida. And he has a segment called Turnbuckle Talk. Mark and I are always on from 10:30 till about 11:15, 11:30, depending on how much stuff we have to talk about. So we're going to try to work getting you on there with us as a guest.
So thank you, Ralph.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
I seen you had a one-on-one show or one. Just I forget what the title was, but it looked like it was interesting. It just seemed like it was just you talking about some stuff.
Yeah, it's my
to watch that. I'm looking forward to seeing that show as well.
Yeah, it was I did a one-on-one today at 3:00. Ralph Williams one-on-one with Joe DiStio. Remember Joe DiStio?
Okay. So
yeah,
it was one-on-one. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you was the one and the one.
No.
Okay.
One-on-one is an interview show that I do whenever I do it based on the guest's time. You know what I mean? So
well, Joe's big time now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's the PA announcer for Pitt. He does their football and basketball, and we talked about that. We talked about his interaction with Franco Harris, and I've been talking about that all week actually, and about interactions with Franco Harris. It was real interesting last night, Smokin' Jim. We had Joe Rudder on last night talking about the Steelers, and I got some news for you today. We can talk about it now or we can wait till next week, but it was breaking news today. I don't know if you heard. The Steelers have reached out to Nathaniel Hackett, the fired coach from Denver, about possibly becoming their offensive coordinator next year, which in fact, and Joe Rudder cleared it up yesterday. And you remember Jim Wexell said something to us too. We had him on the TV version. Matt Canada's gone at the end of the year. So
I'll believe it when I see it.
By hook or by crook, he's gone. So that's the story I'm getting. And today I got some information that Nathaniel Hackett, the Steelers, have reached out to him about possibly coming on board as an offensive coordinator for next year. I spoke to a couple people out on the street because I was out and about today. The weather warmed up a little bit. Spoke to some people out on the street. They don't think that's a good idea. They think we need to go get somebody a little more experienced to deal with the rookies, with the guys, the younger guys. Go out and get somebody a little more experienced. My problem with that is there's nobody out there. That's the big problem. And they're going to have to figure something out or get somebody to do this job, and do it right. And, instead of having coaches like Matt Canada, with his college offense trying to do it in the pros. You know what I always say, don't you?
Well, you heard it from me, weeks ago. I was the first one to say it, and I'll continue to say it, is that I would be shocked if Matt Canada is not back next year.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know what I said about Mike Tomlin, and I know you're shocked about me saying that, but I think if he has a losing record this year, I think he's going to step down. I really believe that because he don't want to be embarrassed about the fact that he had his one bad season.
Well, whatever it takes to get him to step down, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he will. If we go 7-10, if we lose these next two games and we go 7-10, I think he's going to be too embarrassed. I think he knows that the ship is sunk because you and I have both said this many times, and I've said this accordingly. The only reason he's a good coach is because of Ben Roethlisberger. You don't know how many times Ben's bailed him out of a jam. Okay? No coach. He's the only one that walked into a situation other than Matt LaFleur, who walked in with Aaron Rodgers, but he hasn't been there for 15 years with a quarterback. Okay? So Mike Tomlin had a franchise quarterback for the whole tenure until now. He don't know what to do. He's lost. Yeah. He's like a deer in the headlights. So what I'm saying is, and the way they handled this season and everything else, I think it's terrible. I mean, I think he's going to be too embarrassed to say, I had a losing season. Okay? And you got all these people out here smoking, Jim, and I said this last night, you got all these people out here that think we're going to the playoffs. So do you really want the Steelers to go to the playoffs and become a team where they get blown out like they did last year? Okay? I would rather them not go to the playoffs and get blown out. You know what I mean? So, and Tomlin's going to go. If Tomlin says that this year is a success and they go 7-10, then he needs to step down because that's wrong. All right? That's wrong. They haven't beaten any prominent team. They got blown out by every one of them. So what happens? I mean, I don't mean to talk sports here on a wrestling program, but we've done it before. So, So
and me, and I'm gonna go on record as saying that not only do I think Mike Tomlin's not going to resign, but I think that he's already making $12 million a year, which is a little surprising. But I think that he'll sign another contract with the Steelers in a year or two. So the team is headed for mediocrity, and he's going to lead the band.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to retire, but I think it would have been smart for him to quit when Ben quit for his legacy. But
yeah, we'll find out. I mean, that's my prediction, and if I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. I mean, you know that. I never deny the fact that I was right all the time. If I'm wrong, these other media people in this town, Smokin, Jim, none of them want to admit they're wrong ever.
No. No, you're right.
And I'll come out and say I was wrong. But if I'm right, I'll tell you I'm right. And it.
That's right.
And and that's my prediction right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's my prediction. I think he's going to step down if we go 7-10. I really believe that to be true because I think his ego's so bad that he doesn't want to damage it anymore. I think he's going to say, "Hey, look, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I had my one losing season, and I don't know how many more I'm going to have." And, he can go get a cushy broadcasting job or go work somewhere else or go do, you know what I mean? Get paid $2 million and to give his opinion or whatever. You know what I mean? And I will tell you this much, Smokin' Jim. I got somebody that told me this: the minority ownership, not Art. The only reason why he's there is because of Art II. The rest of the ownership group, they want him out. They want him out. They want him gone. But they can't because Art II controls the majority share of the stock in the team.
Good point. Good
Okay.
point.
And if he didn't control the majority stock in the team, and these minority owners could pull together and vote him out or vote the situation out, and who knows, Art Rooney II might sell his portion one of these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because right now he's not doing a very good job as an owner, as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
I agree.
he's not doing anything. If you cared about winning a Super Bowl, and I keep hearing these stories, well, yeah, he really wants to. If you want to win a Super Bowl, then why not give the tools to do it? Why not get the tools out of the toolbox? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using the Mike Tomlinism here because he said that not this press conference, the one before. He said, we got tools in the toolbox. So, I mean, but get the right tools out of the toolbox. You can have a toolbox full of tools, but if the tools aren't the right tools, it's not going to fix nothing. Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. Smokin' Jim, it's great having you on again tonight. I will talk with you next week on Tuesday on Sports Corner because we have no Wrestle Talk tomorrow night due to the holiday. So I wanted to let you know that as well. So we'll see you next Wednesday for another edition of Talking Wrestling. Hope you enjoyed our last show of 2022. I have everybody that tunes into this show tonight. Thomas, thank you for your comments. I want to say thank you for watching as well. And everyone have a happy new year. We come back next year, bigger and better things with this show. Always, every week, we do bigger and better things. We have the best information around, and nobody else can beat us here in Pittsburgh. Nobody. And the king that was the king is no longer the king. I'm the king. We're the king. That's right. You, me, and Smokin' Jim, we're the kings. And guess what? We're going to continue to be the kings. So until next year, Happy New Year and good night and be safe. Thank you.